Hello everybody and welcome to this year's last edition of Pinto's Preview. Daniel Pinto Gunderson here for KFGO.com, and like we do every weekend, we preview NDSU's upcoming opponent. This week, Sam Houston State in the FCS National Championship game. Last year these two teams battled it out, and NDSU in fact down 6-3 at halftime with Sam Houston State in the 2012 National Championship game. But the third quarter allowed for some magic. A fake punt by Matt Voigtlander ran it for a first down. You follow that up with a screen to DJ McNorton. A pick by Travis Beck followed by a quarterback sneak into the end zone by Brock Jensen. And NDSU walked away national champions with a 17-6 win. This year might even be more highly anticipated than last year, with the rematch between Sam Houston State and NDSU coming January 5th, a noon kickoff. Who knows how many Bison fans are going to make the journey down from Fargo, Moorhead, Alexandria, Valley City, all over the North Dakota, Minnesota area, down to Frisco. But before we get to all of those, let's look back at the last time NDSU played against Georgia Southern. Brock Jensen with a big-time 4th and 3 touchdown run to give NDSU the 23-20 win. But, in my opinion, did the better team win? No. Georgia Southern was the better team for those 60 minutes. But in the end, it all matters who ends up on top when the score and the scoreboard hits 3-0. 23-20 win for NDSU, and they're back in the national championship. So, with that, let's get to my 3 points in this week's edition of Pinto's Preview. The first point I want to make is Grant Olson and how healthy he's really going to be. Now, Grant Olson had 29 tackles against Wofford 2 games ago in the quarterfinals against the Terriers, and he has just been solid, if not outstanding, all season long. A first-team all-conference player, a captain for the NDSU Bison football team. He is really the heart and soul of this defense. How healthy he is going to be is really a question. Obviously, earlier this week there was a hospital stay, something to do with his appendix. Coach Bull confirmed that at a Tuesday press conference to announce the fact that he had signed an extension with NDSU, an 8-year extension, and congratulations to Craig Bull on that. If Grant Olson is able to go at all, in my opinion, that's better than Grant Olson not being able to go. Why? The backup, Antonio Rogers, probably won't play. You have Esley Thornton, who's an outside linebacker, and he's the backup to both Travis Beck and Carlton Littlejohn. He would be a guy who would step in, and you slide one of those 2 outside linebackers over. I've heard Littlejohn, I would think Beck. Really doesn't matter. One of the 2 will play if Olson can't go. But he's set for probable. He didn't practice the first day down in Frisco, but we'll see as the week goes on how he'll get better, how he'll get healthy, and how he reacts to everything going on. If Grant Olson can go at all, in my opinion, that saves NDSU a lot of trouble on the defensive side of the ball. Second point I want to make is Sam Houston State getting another opportunity to beat NDSU. At the beginning of the season, you have a lot of players returning, and they mark goals down, and you have to assume one of the goals for Sam Houston State was to get back to this national championship game. Same for NDSU. Sam Houston State took a little bit more of a difficult route to this national championship game. 2 FBS schools, both losses, and they didn't even win their conference, the Southland. That was Central Arkansas who ended up winning the Southland Conference. They ran through 3 Big Sky schools in Cal Poly, Montana State, and Eastern Washington. They only had 4 true home games all season. So with Huntsville only 4 hours away, the fans, they need to come out in droves for this Bearkats team, because I don't think they did last year, and NDSU fans really took advantage of that. This neutral site stadium, it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out, if there's going to be more Bearcat fans or more Bison fans, because I don't think it's going to be neutral come Saturday with that noon kickoff. And the Bearcat fans, they really need to come out, show their support, and really get behind a team that wanted so desperately to get back to this point again in 2013. The third and final point I want to make, Brock Jensen's ability at quarterback. He's a winner. Flat out, guy doesn't lose. But of late, he has not played that well at the quarterback position. Making a really bad pass against Wofford. He wasn't sharp against Georgia Southern. He hasn't really turned the ball over that much. I give you that. But the problem I see is he's not hitting open receivers like he usually does. Ryan Smith on crossing patterns, out routes, which he's very good at. He has a strong arm. He's very strong in the pocket. But he just hasn't been playing the way you would expect Brock Jensen to play. He was playing that way at the beginning of the season, but he's really digressed as the season's gone on. 3 weeks to prepare for this game, so anything physically, mentally he needs to clear up. It should be gone by now. And I know NDSU needs Brock Jensen to perform well so you can get that running game going. Brock Jensen doesn't need to throw for 300 yards, but he needs to throw for 250 at least, maybe a score, have that completion percentage up in the 70% area, and he should be good to go. I expect Brock Jensen to have a big game for NDSU in this national championship game. And now for my prediction. Well, I've been on both sides of the fences as these playoffs have gone on. At the beginning, I thought NDSU was going to roll, was going to dominate, and they were going to be my favorite to win the national championship. In fact, I picked them to win the national championship. Then Sam Houston State showed me how good they are and how explosive they can be offensively, while NDSU struggled on the offensive side of the ball and barely managed to get by not only Georgia Southern, but in my opinion, Wofford as well. So here we are. I thought Sam Houston State had the advantage as of this week, especially with Grant Olson being in the hospital. Beginning of the playoffs, of course, I thought it would be NDSU. So where do I stand? That's the big question. I think NDSU wins this game. Here's why. Sam Houston State loves to blitz. I don't think they're going to get to Brock Jensen that often. NDSU has a very solid offensive line. They're all intact. They're all healthy, plus really good blockers at the tight end and fullback position. That'll give Brock Jensen an opportunity to hit Trevor Gebhardt, Zach Vraw, Ryan Smith. Big gains will come for NDSU in this. Expect a couple middle screens. They haven't really run them well all year. But with the blitzing, you get a lot of those defenders upfield. Sam Ojuri fits behind him. John Crockett fits behind him. Jensen dumps it off to him. Could be a big gain. It's been a big play in NDSU's playbook for years. They used it last year for the touchdown for DJ McNorton. I think maybe that play shows up a couple times in this game. Sam Houston State, with all their blitzing, they're not going to get to Jensen. NDSU's going to take advantage of that. It's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a 17-13 win for the Bison. But they're going to walk away with the 2013 National Championship back-to-back titles. For KFGO.com and Pinto's Preview, I'm Daniel Gunderson.